Hello, this is Manesh Patel from the EII Capital Group. Today is September 5th, 2011. It's our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the futures market. Okay, this is our first recording after back from vacation. So it's been a while, but we're going to start back going through on a weekly basis and start these videos again. Anyways, this is a normal disclaimer. Everything you see is basically going to be from Thinkorswim, which is from TD Ameritrade, TradeStation, or FreeStockCharts.com. Here are my contact details, and Patel at eiicapital.com. You can follow us at Twitter at Ichimoku Trading, or you could access any of our free videos at ichimokutrade.com. Okay, so let's go straight to the charts. Okay, so let's start with the futures. We're going to start from the very top as we normally do and just go through and analyze everything. First one's cocoa futures. Remember, the left-hand side is basically the weekly, right-hand side is the daily. If you look here on the weekly, there's nothing really going on here at all. On the daily, it could sit there and stop popping to the top side, but it's got to break 31.50 is the resistance, and 29.98 is basically the support. So you gotta wait for something to happen there. Like crude oil, if you look at it on the daily, on the weekly chart, this thing looks like it's trying to break through for the cloud. Right now it's trying to go down, and you can see that it's trying to make a movement down and sit there and get down to this level here at 71.36, but with only time will tell what happens. On the daily chart, you can see it's sitting there, you know, it's kind of got a little, if you draw a trend line there, you can see it's kind of just right at that little trend line right now, so it's do or die for crude oil right now going forward. If you look at the resistance level, it's basically at 88.17, and support's going to be around $83. Okay, so let's move on. Cotton. Cotton, you could see here, has had a huge movement down here. This is pretty much a trend. It came down here. The key now is what's going to happen here is going to be interesting to see. Is this going to start going back up and start to retest the highs, or is this going to start going down and breaking the lows and start going down lower? And that's what's going to make this into either a pullback or a trend reversal. Only time's going to tell us there. If you look at the daily chart, nothing really going on. It's just going sideways, sideways, sideways. This thing really is going to sit there and have trouble trying to go north to the bullish side until October. In October, it has a potential going up long, but until now, it's got a lot of major resistance ahead of it, and as we talk about, 130 is basically going to be the resistance, and 100 is going to be the support. So we're right at the bottom of the range, and only time is going to tell us what's going to happen there. If you look at the US dollar index here, we're right at resistance level right now for the US dollar. On the weekly chart, you could see it's just sitting there consolidating. So we're right at a resistance level here, and you could also see that from the daily charts right now. So we're at the top of the range right now. 73.50 is basically the bottom, and 75.50 is about the top of the range, and then 76 is the master major resistance that it has to break to go higher. Okay. Scrolling down, we'll come back to gold in a minute. Feeder cattle, as you can see here, it's just sitting there hanging around at the support level right now at 132, resistance at 134.98, so 135 basically. Nothing really going on there at all for feeder cattle. Lean hogs, which was the strongest one of all of them. Look at this big old gap here. A lot of people got caught basically hands in the cookie jar here, trying to think that this thing could go higher and higher and higher. It was a way overextended, but look what happened. It just gapped straight down. This is a nasty chart, not even worth talking about it at all due to the gap that happened. Copper, if you look at copper on a weekly time frame, it's just going sideways. Nothing really going on as far as copper is concerned. Major resistance level on the weekly is going to be around 4.2. And then support's going to be around 3.8. If you look at the daily time frame, it's in there, made a huge move down and then came back up. It's pulled back. It's at a resistance level right now and slowly starting to move down. This thing probably may get to about 3.9, and at that point it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I don't know if this is going to start a trend to the downside from the daily time frame. Only time's going to tell. But if it could break 3.9 level and go down to 3.8 and break that, then it does have a potential of going down lower, but it's got a long ways to go. Heating oil is sitting there just consolidating on the weekly. You could see same thing on the daily time frame. 2.9222 is basically going to be a support level. 3.10 is going to be the resistance level for that. Coffee, if you look at coffee, a big move up here, as you can see in the last couple of weeks here. Really doesn't mean anything as far as coffee is concerned. It's just sitting there retesting the high on its weekly time frame, and you can see that exactly on the daily chart here, where this just had a huge big movement up 40 pips, 40 points, and really needs to pull back. And at that point, we could determine what's going to happen once it does a pullback. But really, nothing you could do on this one until it does a pullback and see what happens. Lumber, if you look here, it's kind of bottomed out here at the bottom of the range. And you can see the 214 is the bottom of the range. About 330 is basically top of the range there. Okay, so it's just going back and forth right now between that on the weekly time frame. Nothing really going on there, not even on the daily. Live cattle, if you look at it, it's just sitting there hanging around. 111.62 is basically support level, and about 118 is going to be the resistance level as far as live cattle is concerned. Let's go down. Natural gas. Natural gas being a lot of news. Well, I don't know why. It's just sitting there consolidating. Nothing really going on. This is probably a boring future if you look at it. Its major support level is going to 3.795 and resistance level is going to be a 4.000. So nothing really going on. I don't know why people are talking about this thing going back and forth, but nothing really going on there at all. Frozen concentrated orange juice. Nothing going on at all. It's in the cloud here. If you look at the daily time frame, basically it's gone down. It's right at the bottom of its range, right around support level 160. If it breaks that, then can start a trend downwards, all the way down to probably about 140. Resistance level is going to be around 180.55. Palladium, if you look at it, it's just consolidating. Nothing going on here. It's just ranging here between 700 and 847. So nothing really going on as far as that's concerned. Platinum, remember you heard about the big huge push? Well, guess what? It just pushed to the top of the range, and that's about it. It hasn't really done anything at all. Now has a potential of starting going up, but really hasn't done anything at all. It's got to break this level 188.88. If it does, then it could sit there and start trending upwards. 1800 is basically a support level for platinum. Okay, we covered natural gas, covered crude oil. Let's go gasoline. Gasoline, if you look at it on a weekly time frame, nothing really gone. Was bullish, momentum's kind of sticking out of it. And if you look at the daily chart, just sitting there consolidating here. Draw a line here. It's kind of at its support level right now. It's do or die here for this guy right now. So 2.70 is basically support level, and 2.9 is basically resistance level. One of the two has got to break. Sugar, if you look at it, nothing really going on here. If it could break 32, then this thing can sit there and start going higher. It's right at the support level in the daily time frame, which is around 29. So it's going to be interesting to see, but it's a little more tilted towards the bullish side than bearish side at all. We'll come back to silver in a minute. Let's go look at gold. Gold, if you look at a weekly time frame, you've been in this thing for years, still haven't even got stopped out, still going. It's at 1905 right now, and still looks like it's about to retest the high at 1915. You can see it from the daily time frame too. So gold, it looks like it's trying to get to this 2000 psychological level, which everyone's looking at. Silver, if you look at silver here, it's trying to push upwards right now on a weekly time frame. You can see that big movement up here a couple days ago, last week in fact, on silver. So it's trying to sit there, get to about 44, and then maybe start there. But if it breaks that, then it can sit there, retest the highs at 50. So only time will tell on that one. 30-year Treasury Bonds. Wow, look at this big movement up on the weekly time frame. You can look at that. It's broke its one resistance level here, going to retest the highs here, pretty much retested the highs. Now its question is, what is it going to do? So we're right at the support resistance level 141, 141,13. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Support's basically 135,110. So it's interesting to see where the bond market's going to be. But if it does break that, then it can go higher. Corn, you could see it's trying to retest the highs here. If it does and it breaks that, then it can sit there and continue to trend going upwards. And you could see that from the daily time frame, how it's broken out of the cloud, come up. It's trying to do a pullback right now. The support level is at 718, and resistance is going to be basically around 790, 780, and so forth. Okay, 5-year Treasury notes, same thing as 30-year, but notice this. It's broken out of this pivot here. and it's actually broken out from its resistance, and it's high right now. So it's trying to retest its high from a couple of weeks ago here at 124.007, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But if you look at the support level here, that's 122.027. So it's going to be interesting. The 5-year is stronger than the 30-year right now, as you could probably expect. Soybean meal oil. Soybean meal futures, basically ranging. You can see here is at 390 is a resistance level, and support's basically at 339. So that's ranging between the two. We're right at the top. If you look at it from the daily time frame, it looks like it's trying to see a trend, but we are at a major resistance level right now. So only time's going to tell exactly what's going to happen there. 10-year Treasury notes, just like the 5. So the 5 and the 10 are strong right now as far as the trend is concerned. We've broken resistance level. Came back here, tested as a support, and it looks like we could go high if we could sit there and break these levels now. Basically, support level is going to be 127.20, and resistance level is going to be that last high, which is 131.215. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Oats really not doing anything except ranging. 400 is resistance level, 320 is basically a support level there, and then let's just go to wheat. Wheat, nothing going on there. 850 is basically resistance level, and 600 is basically support level there. Thank you, and that's it for this week. If you have any questions,